guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Crown Hyundai in St. Pete, Florida, and guess what? I have that performance midsize sedan you've been wanting to see more of. It's this vehicle right here. This is your updated, changed up, refresh 2024 Hyundai Sonata N-Line. But before we get into this turbocharged 8-speed dual clutch transmission equipped midsize sedan, let's talk about what's going on here. The midsize sedan, that used to be such a hot topic of discussion in the auto industry. It's kind of gotten a little stale, a little cold. The reason why is some brands have pulled out of the midsize sedan segment, and brands like Honda and Toyota have dropped any kind of performance spec from their vehicle. Technically, model year 2024 will be the last year of the Camry TRD with the V6. With that being said, Hyundai is continuing with the Sonata, just like Kia with the K5 GT. So what I want to find out is, if you're still looking for a midsize sedan and you want some performance, you want some sportiness to it, and you don't want to go spend $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 on a German Euro, is this Sonata N-Line the best way to go? Let's go ahead, let's dive into our crystal black Sonata N-Line and find out. Right off the bat, the shape. They really have done it a ton of justice by revamping the front end. And what you'll see is we have our LED daytime running lamp that actually extends all the way across that aerodynamic nose. You are going to have, of course, your turn signals built in, and I like the way they just flash, but keep the daytime running lamp going in the center. Working our way down, you're going to have a little area with projector beam LED headlights. I like the way they kind of shrunk that down. LED fog lamps, and look at the size of that functional corner air curtain. My one zonk is going to be the fake grille. Just keep this smooth. I don't mind that it's gloss black. Just smooth it out. We don't need to see a fake grille there. I'm really loving the way they did this flat black area that separates the upper and lower portion of the front nose. And you'll see that even the functional air curtain is in the lower portion, but so is the fake vent. So zonk that lower portion, but I love the accents. I think that's what really accentuates the front end of this Sonata N-Line, is that dark gunmetal gray with the flat black. Now, as we come across that new shape, like I said, more aerodynamic nose, we have nothing but functionality up top. You could see all of the heat exchangers and coolers lurking behind. Working our way down, of course, you're gonna have your N-Line badge. It would have been nice if they would have made a full all-in kind of Sonata N, because the one thing that this is missing is a limited slip differential. That's the one thing that kind of draws the line between sporty performance and pure all-out performance. On the lower portion of the grille, you do have some gloss black, but it is fully functional. And then you'll notice how they did this nice little kind of design along the splitter. Like I said, it doesn't have to look fake for it to look good. Just give me a little design, and that's something that definitely Hyundai has brought tenfold for this updated Sonata N-Line. Now, as we rise up, you're gonna get a bulge. It's not a major bulge, but it's a bulge nonetheless. Like the way the Hyundai badge is now aero, nice and flush, and it's a aluminum style rather than a shiny chrome style finish. Now, as we come around the bend, if we have a new wrapper, we gotta have some new wheels. And I'm loving these N branded wheels. You can see the N Performance badge there. Love the way it's got these stylish indentations, a little bit of machined aluminum, and then the rest is all gonna be flat black. It's a 19-inch wheel, and if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of the tires? 245 on the width, 45 series sidewall. Remember, this is front-wheel drive, but it does utilize a turbocharged engine, and it does have, like I said, an 8-speed dual-clutch transmission. Suspension has been tuned specifically for the Sonata N-Line over the standard Sonata, just like Toyota did with the Camry TRD. You get a V6, but then you get the sport tuned suspension and the brakes. Same story with this. And I think that's one of the other zonks. I would like to see some N branding and a little bit better brake caliper than what you have on the N-Line. But other than that, let me know how you feel about the wheel style. I think it looks definitely fantastic and an improvement over the previous year's example. Now coming down the side, they gave us some classy. I'm loving the side marker lights with the N badge. No need for fake vent though. Get rid of the fake vent. So that is gonna be a little zonk. It's not a big vent. It's not a big fake vent, so we're gonna give it a small fake vent size zonk to go with that. But I do like the side marker light and the N-Line badge. You're gonna get color matched gloss black on the mirror caps. You'll notice up top we do have a panoramic sunroof, which is a nice touch. And then working our way down, gloss black around the window openings, body color on the door handles, and my favorite part of the side is the side skirt extension. I'm actually gonna have Steven kind of swing around and show you just how far this extends out. It is a functional piece, and being that gunmetal gray color gives it a nice pop of color from the side, and it matches what's going on with the front. Now, as we kind of swing it around and come down the side of the vehicle, you have a real deal quarter window, not a bunch of gloss black. Nice shape coming into the all new rear lighting. So look at what they did. It's half of the H, half of the Hyundai H, all LED. You got your vortex generators to clean up the air that hits the back corners. We have a nice trunk lid kick up spoiler, just enough to make things interesting. And then that lighting will come when you have your lights on at night, will come all the way across. Interesting how they did this decorative trim underneath the plastic of the rear trunk area. Gives it, like I said, a more high upscale feel, the way they spell out the Sonata name. And then my favorite part is working our way down, you have a nice quad tip exhaust, slash cut, oval opening, stainless steel tips, and a simulated diffuser area. I think the one thing I would have liked to have seen on the back is where's my N-Line badge? Got an N-Line badge on the nose, N-Line badge on each fender. I think maybe they ran out of N-Line badges, and maybe that's why they didn't put one on the trunk. But let me know if you think it should have an N-Line badge, just to make it a cohesive badge placement on this Sonata N-Line. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk about horsepower and performance of this sport midsize sedan. All right, guys, we are inside this 2024 Hyundai Sonata N-Line. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I'm not ready to go SUV route, and I don't have $70,000 to go get a Mercedes AMG or something like that. But I do want something with some style, and I definitely want something with some performance. I have been thinking Camry TRD, but so far I like the look of this updated Hyundai Sonata N-Line. How much is it? Very good question. This is really where it lays the smack down on the competition. MSRP, $36,000. It's that simple. But let's see what you get when you go Hyundai Sonata N-Line to the door panels. I love the use of the materials. Soft touch. You got the Bose sound system with those little speaker grill covers for the tweeters. You have that dark chrome finish, which looks great on the door handle. The red contrast stitching, soft, smooth material on the armrest, no gloss black. And then the door pocket is a pretty good size. One Chipotle burrito, no guac. That's okay because guac costs extra, and a Coca-Cola to wash it down. Now going from the door panel to the dash, same thing. I'm loving the smooth, soft touch material, the red stitching, even the way they did this material in the center. It's not meant to look like carbon fiber, and it doesn't, but it looks good, and I like that. Even the way they brought some red trim in for the AC vents, you slide on in, wait till you greeted to. A 12.3-inch infotainment system screen. You'll notice a blue haze. You know, Jimi Hendrix, it was all about the purple haze. Blue haze is the ambient lighting at night, which is nice. And I also am digging how it's got a nice curve to it so that it's driver focused. Of course, full touchscreen capability, and it has all the usual apps that you're used to from Hyundai. So that's really nice. One thing I wish they had was actually a performance gauge setup. But remember, this is not a true N performance vehicle. It's an N-Line. Throw it in reverse. Backup camera could use a little bit better resolution. It's a little grainy, and I would like it to take up all 12.3 inches. If you have if you're lucky enough to have 12.3 inches, it'd be nice to use it all on an infotainment system screen. On the side of the driving steering wheel here, you'll notice that we are back to column shifters. So this is the same shifter that's out of the Ioniq 5, Ioniq 6. It's a twist system, and then park is push. But column shifters are back. I can't believe I'm actually saying that. You have some real physical buttons for your radio controls and some physical buttons for the dual climate temperature controls. And then you have this TFT, thin filament resistor screen. Easy to figure out what to do. Much easier than something like a Volkswagen product. So nice to have the ventilated seats and the heated seats all set up on your system. You do have USB-C, 2 of them, and a 12 volt. Of course, you're gonna have wireless charging, a place for 2 Twinkies, drive mode selector switch, which I'll show you that on the business side of things, a place to put 2 more Twinkies, 2 cup holders, and then there's your Hyundai key fob. Do you see the H? Normally I would hold it like this, but I'm holding it this way so that you can see the H. That same gray soft touch material, the same stitching. Open this up. Is it the key to my heart? No, this is actually the key to the wheel lock, so somebody doesn't get a 5-finger discount on your 19-inch Sonata N-Line wheels. But the good news is you could easily put, I would say, 1 tackle box in here. And if you're wondering, are we going fishing? No, I'm talking about a Long John Silver's tackle box. Hush puppies, some fish sticks, some French fries, and then of course, Steven's favorite, the tartar sauce. Seats, I love the style of them, that leather style material, the perforated, the piping, the bolstering, manual controls for the passenger. The good news is though, as the driver, I have full electric assist, and you have that power sunshade for your power panoramic sunroof, which is really nice. And that's probably one of the fastest sunshades I've ever seen, ever. But why don't you get your butt over here? I got a steering wheel with the M badge on it I want to introduce you to. Come on. All right, guys, pedal box time. I like what Hyundai does. It's almost like right out of their IMSA TCR race cars. Nice aluminum large dead pedal, brake pedal, and throttle, all aluminum. You'll notice we do have underneath here Sonata N-Line embroidery on the floor mats. That's worth an extra 5 horsepower. We got our seat controls. You can actually adjust the bolstering, which is nice too. So that's a nice touch. And then I promised you a steering wheel. I got one for you. Love the way it's got a unique shape. It's not exactly a flat bottom, but definitely different than a lot of other steering wheels you're gonna hold on to. The red stitching is a nice touch. The M badge, if you're wondering what the hell is this is actually Morse code. Those 4 dots for the letter H. And then you'll notice behind there we have our 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. I'll show you the modes that we have: normal, sport, and then my drive is like a unique preferential type of setting. I do like the way you have an oil temp, torque, and turbo boost gauge in the center. And you'll notice on the sides of the steering wheel here, you do have your paddles for that 8-speed DCT, and it is a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And if you're wondering, what is a TFT display? Let me clarify that, because I had somebody phone in because they were a little confused. TFT stands for thin filament resistor. That's the type of screen that is for all the experts out there that want to call in. I'm here for you to make those corrections. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the back seat and see how much room we have in the Sonata N-Line. All right, guys, back seat time. This is another area where mid-size sedan, you're going to notice the difference between sitting in this car and sitting in an Elantra. There's just that much more room. Very similar to what you're going to get in a Toyota Camry. And that's the thing is you got to say to yourself, do you like the newer materials, the newer design, the newer technology? Or do you want to go with the Camry TRD, which has a little bit more of a racer look to it, with the wing out back and the bigger splitters and all that kind of stuff? And do you want a naturally aspirated V6? That's the big question. That's the big mystery. Now, the backs of the seats, you don't have any kind of pocket behind the driver's seat. So if you have something you want to store, don't sit behind the driver. I do like the way they give you 2 USB-Cs. I don't like the way you don't have any rear AC vents. So that's going to be a zonk. I have one of those pesky cargo net liners here. You could probably put, like I say, a family-sized bag of Swedish fish, maybe some Twizzlers. Hell, maybe even some Laffy Taffy. Shake your Laffy Taffy. That's what Steven always likes to say. But sitting here, it's comfortable. I'm 6 feet tall. I had plenty of room up front, plenty of room out back, and thank God they give us an armrest back here too, because I want to be extra comfy with my 2 cup holders. But why don't we go ahead, let's get into the trunk and see what kind of junk we could fit in the Sonata. All right, guys, time to get in the trunk. This is one of the nice things about a mid-size sedan over a compact size sedan, because you hit that nice integrated button, you're going to be greeted to 16 cubic feet of space. The seats are going to have that 60-40 split. One thing to know is that not only do you get with this one a first aid kit, it actually has N-Line and N badging Band-Aids, but you also get a tire mobility kit, which somebody spilled some goo on here. I don't know what this goo is, but the reason why you have this is because there is no spare. So just something to remember on this Sonata N-Line. But you know what? It's that time. If you're ready, I'm definitely ready. Let's go for a little on-throttle spin and see how this does compared to a Camry TRD. Let's get to it. All right, guys, we are in this 2024 Hyundai Sonata N-Line. We're leaving Crown Hyundai. And right away, I think one of the things you're gonna love right off the bat compared to the Toyota Camry TRD are the seats in here. I love how comfortable they are. I also love how supportive they are. So they're really giving you a nice combination of support, plus they have a nice comfort level, more so than the Camry. The Camry has comfortable seats, but they're a little bit more squishy, and they definitely don't have nicer bolstering like this seat does. Getting to that nice large 12.3-inch infotainment system is a piece of cake, all within fingertips reach. And then you have that nice clear gauge cluster. I love being able to put things like oil temp in the gauge and the turbo boost gauge in that center gauge display, but you could scroll through a bunch of different information, including your lane keep assist, mileage, a little bit of a compass there, things like that. One thing that this does not have, which is a bit of a bummer, is of course that blind spot camera system when you use your turn signals. But I think that's one of the ways that they were able to keep this at a lower price point. I do have it in sport mode. Very easy to do that by hitting the button on the center console layout. And then now what we're gonna do is we are gonna go on throttle. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Here we go. On throttle. As you can hear some chirping from the front end of the vehicle, from those front tires, because remember, the boost, when it hits pretty hard. And I don't know if you noticed, the orange traction control light was just flashing away. That's the one area where this vehicle, it should have all-wheel drive. I mean, this is the one, I know a lot of people want the Elantra N to have all-wheel drive. This one needs it more, especially without it having a limited slip diff. But once you get the power down to the ground, it does accelerate very briskly, or very brisk, I should say. And you're gonna get all of the safety features you want. Blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, and just the way the vehicle drives. You know, you would think being an N-Line, it might be a little extra stiff, that you're not gonna like it. It actually rides very, very well. And you're also able to take the corners a little bit better because of the changes that they did in the suspension compared to your standard Sonata, which, yes, all Sonatas are refreshed for 2024, not just the N-Line. Now, when we're comparing this to the Camry TRD, one thing I do like better in the Camry TRD is the torque. It comes lower down in that rev range, and it's a little bit more linear because it's a naturally aspirated V6. Both accelerate very quickly. This one actually is going to out-accelerate at the end of the day, the Camry TRD. And the suspension with those TRD springs is a little stiffer than the ride that you get in this Elantra, Elantra. I almost think like I'm in an Elantra N, but in this Sonata N-Line. But brakes feel good. Love the use of the great materials that they have in here. They really cleaned up this area because they got rid of the shifter on the center column here. You now have it on your steering column instead of the center area of your console. But pulling away, shifts are fairly smooth. Of course, in sport mode, everything is going to be a little bit more aggressive. The throttle sensitivity, all those things. But let's go on throttle. Here we go. I'm telling you, you're going to be surprised just how peppy this vehicle is, especially with it being a mid-size sedan and not a compact sedan. But visibility out the front is great. The way they have the screens, it's easy to read. Nothing is blocked by the steering wheel. And they're tastefully done. They're not too over the top. Not too much wind noise and not too much road noise, which is nice to see as well. But just overall, a vehicle that I think is going to surprise many, especially when it comes down to the price point. I think that's the biggest thing that's going to just blow your mind, is the price point with these. But very easy to drive. You're not getting a bunch of fake pumped in noise that's all obnoxious and loud and everything. I mean, it really just does a great job of giving a good experience. All right, guys, once again, I'm gonna use the paddles to shift. I'm gonna shut off the traction control just so you can see. It's crazy how the front tires get overwhelmed very easily. Are you ready? And I'm gonna use the paddles to go through the 8-speed. On throttle, here we go. I mean, you're just spinning them. You're just spinning them left and right. So not a lot of traction off the line when you shut that traction control button off. But the handling is really great. You have a nice gear indicator. I wish it would stay displayed though. That's kind of weird. It only displays when you're shifting the gears. It should be there all the time. But very fast, very quick, very competent shifts from the Sonata N-Line, the 8-speed transmission in this vehicle. Okay, this time, guys, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a rolling start. I'm gonna get into third gear. On throttle, drops down, and we're gone. Here we go. On the brakes. Not too much body roll, which is good. And what's crazy is I was right in the sweet spot of the torque delivery. So you're definitely gonna get a sportier drive, but if you wanna go all in, you gotta get something like an Elantra N if you wanna stay with the Hyundai brand. I think when it comes to cornering, the Camry TRD handles a little bit better, but this Sonata N-Line definitely out-accelerates it once you get the power to the ground. That's the key. You got to get the power to the ground. But we're going to go ahead and get back to where this all started and wrap this one up. So I'll see you back at Crown Hyundai in a split second. Another great day out here at Crown Hyundai. Definitely want to thank Casey and the rest of the crew getting us access to one of their very first 2024 Sonata N-Lines. Let me know what you think. Are you gonna go Toyota Camry TRD? Last year, model year 2024, that's it, with a V6? Or are you gonna go with this updated, changed up Sonata N-Line? But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raise Rides family. None of this would be possible today if it wasn't for Steven flexing his muscles, showing off the goods to all the ladies walking by. Don't show him off too much, Steven. But definitely thank him down in that comment section. And thank you, Steven, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.